What's behind this door?
Can you knock again if that was you? There it is. I'm gonna go check. Hang on.
Visiting abandoned buildings comes with its own sense of thrill. But sometimes, explorers stumble upon something that clearly doesn't want them there. Here are 3 chilling encounters that terrified visitors so badly, they had no choice but to run for their lives. If you are someone who scares easily, I advise you to stop watching right now. For everyone else, let's begin with our first encounter. In April of 2021, 2 Canadian content creators set out to investigate a place most locals refuse to talk about after dark. Jordan and Johnny, the paranormal explorers known online for documenting abandoned locations with unsettling reputations. Their channel focused on alleged hauntings, urban legends, and places people claimed were better left alone. But one message they received stood out from the rest. It was about a farmhouse, hidden deep in a remote stretch near Steinbach, Canada. The property had been abandoned for decades. Built shortly after World War II, the farm carried a history filled with unexplained disappearances, sudden move-outs, and stories that locals shared only in hushed tones. According to longtime residents, the original farmer had a disturbing routine. Night after night, he would leave the house after sunset and return only in the morning. Then one evening, he left as usual and was never seen again. Over the next 80 years, the land changed hands multiple times, but no one ever stayed longer than 2 years. The couple who contacted Jordan and Johnny were the most recent occupants, and what they experienced inside that house was enough to make them flee without ever returning. They described waking up in the upstairs bedroom to the sound of voices, clear, unmistakable, and coming from inside the house. When they turned toward the window, they saw something watching them from outside, not standing below, but peering in at eye level. Whatever it was would have had to be impossibly tall, or not standing on the ground at all. That same night, the couple abandoned the farmhouse for good, and that's when Jordan and Johnny agreed to investigate.
Farmhouse. It just looks absolutely terrifying. It wouldn't have been that window.
No,
right, that she said.
yeah, it was the one facing the barns, right?
Yeah, that's right. This place, all the glass is shattered and stuff.
So it's got to be that window.
It'd be that window, barn. Shine the light back here. Yo, Johnny.
What?
They arrived at the property after midnight. The farmhouse stood in silence, its windows shattered, its walls stripped bare by time. As they circled the building looking for a way inside, their cameras continued recording. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but when they scanned the upper floor with their lights, something appeared, briefly, in one of the bedroom windows. A hand. It reached out from the darkness, and then vanished back inside. At the time, neither of them noticed it. It wasn't until the footage was uploaded that viewers spotted the detail, pointing out that the hand appeared in the exact same window where the couple had reported seeing someone watching them. Unaware of this chilling coincidence, the 2 explorers entered the house and began their investigation. Inside, the building was unstable. The stairs creaked sharply with every step. They set up cameras on multiple floors, planning to monitor the house for movement or sound. That's when they heard it. A knock, clear, hollow, intentional. They froze, listening. Then came another.
In this room by this bathroom too, I think. What?
I heard something footsteps.
There it is.
That's definitely a knock.
Can you knock again if that was you? There it is. I'm gonna go check. Hang on.
They called out, asking for a response, and followed the sound upstairs. But no matter how thoroughly they searched, nothing explained where the noise had come from. Trying to rule out natural causes, they returned downstairs and prepared a sensory deprivation test. cutting out light and sound to see if the house would respond. Almost immediately, something did. A light bulb dropped to the floor without warning. It hadn't been touched. It hadn't been loose. It simply fell. Startled, they tried to rationalize what they'd seen, but no explanation fit. Still, they continued, and that's when they decided to attempt something riskier. They placed a table in the center of the room for a method known as table tipping, a controversial technique believed by some to allow communication through movement. Before the test could even begin, the table flipped violently. At the same moment, both explorers heard what sounded like footsteps charging down the staircase toward them. Panicked, they ran.
Boy. Johnny,
Did you hear that? What was that?
I heard something.
It was this light bulb, dude.
A light bulb.
Look. Oh my God.
That wasn't already there?
No.
Hello?
And I'll grab this camera. And then let's
Table tipping.
yeah, I kind of want to just show.
Is that what it's called?
It's called table tipping, yeah.
It is? Okay. I didn't know if it had like an official name or something.
Stop. Whoa.
Dude, what was that?
What? Jordan,
What?
are you okay?
Are you okay?
Where should we go, dude? I want to get out of here for a minute, dude. I don't want to go
Go upstairs.
over
Go
there.
upstairs.
Grab that light.
The sound of movement stopped, and then the table began sliding aggressively across the floor. If the footsteps were real, it meant something had reached the bottom of the stairs just before the table moved. Whatever it was, wasn't subtle anymore. After a brief retreat, the house went quiet again. Eventually, they returned and decided to shift their focus to the barn outside, hoping distance from the house might calm things down. It didn't. Inside the barn, they attempted communication once more. As they spoke, an object suddenly flew across the room, then another, a bottle. A box, both thrown with enough force that neither could have fallen naturally. They rushed toward the source, but once again, found nothing. No animals, no people, no explanation. That was the final moment. The investigation ended there. To this day, no evidence has conclusively proven what happened inside that farmhouse. The footage has never been officially verified, nor debunked. But one thing is certain, the explorers were given multiple chances to leave. First, the sounds. Then the movement, then the table, and finally, objects being thrown directly at them.
Is that you who flipped the table? Is it Jordan?
Can you say Jordan's name back, or can you say my name? My name's Johnny. Can you tell us if necrophonic is real? And if it is, we want to know, did you flip that table? Is necrophonic real? So it sounded like it said. What was that? That's what that was.
You throw a box?
If something was inside that farm, it made one thing very clear. They weren't welcome. Whether it was paranormal or something else entirely is left up to you to decide. In January of 2024, two urban explorers set out to investigate a place that wasn't supposed to be occupied anymore, but clearly was. Z and May, creators behind the channel Urbex Vibes, a YouTube dedicated to exploring abandoned buildings across the United States. Most of their videos involve forgotten factories, empty malls, or long-closed businesses. But this exploration would quickly become something far more serious. The location was an abandoned bank in Framingham, Massachusetts. From the outside, the building looked dormant, sealed off and forgotten. But the moment they stepped inside, something felt off. Unlike most abandoned sites, this place hadn't been destroyed by time or vandalism. The walls were mostly intact, the ceilings were stable, and even more unsettling, the power was still on. Lights worked, electronics still functioned. The building looked as if it had been frozen in time rather than abandoned. As they moved carefully through the interior, Z and May focused on two things: documenting the space and making sure they were alone. Room by room, they checked offices, hallways, and corners of the building. At first, everything was quiet. No movement, no sounds, no signs that anyone had been there recently. Eventually, they made their way toward the main office area, a section filled with desks, phones, and paperwork left behind years earlier. That's when they opened one door they probably wish they hadn't.
What's behind this door? What is that? Recorded. Holy bro. Is that real? I don't know what it is. Is that real?
Yo, are you alright?
That's somebody?
It sure looks like it's somebody.
That looks like real hair. That's a phone and stuff. We gotta go. Oh, we gotta go. Hello? Let's
Are you
go.
alright?
Oh no.
I think we just might have found a dead body in the bank, bro.
Let's go. I don't know what to do.
Let's go outside and let's figure it out. Hold on.
No.
Let's go outside.
No.
Yes,
No.
hold on.
No.
So relax.
I can't.
Relax.
This is the worst.
Relax.
Inside the room, slumped over a desk, was a woman. She wasn't moving. Her face was down against the surface, her hair spilling over the edge. For a split second, they tried to convince themselves it wasn't real. Maybe a mannequin, maybe discarded clothing, but it was unmistakably a person. They called out to her, asked if she was okay. There was no response. Panic set in almost immediately. Unsure whether she was unconscious, overdosing, or worse, Z and May backed out of the room and rushed outside, overwhelmed by the realization that they might have just found someone in critical condition. Once outside, they called the police. Although this part wasn't captured on camera, the explorers later explained what happened next. When officers arrived, they entered the bank and repeatedly called out to the woman. Minutes passed with no response. The situation became serious enough that emergency intervention was being considered. Then, just in time, the woman began to wake up. It turned out she had been under the influence of heavy substances, which explained why she hadn't reacted to the explorers or the police. Fortunately, she regained consciousness before medical treatment was administered and ultimately declined being taken to the hospital. In the end, no one was harmed, but the outcome could have been very different had Z and May not explored that room. Had they not reacted quickly, there's no telling how long the woman might have remained there unnoticed. What began as a routine urban exploration turned into an unexpected rescue, and a reminder that abandoned buildings are rarely as empty as they appear. Sometimes the most disturbing discoveries aren't paranormal at all, they're real. By the summer of 2024, urban explorer Tom had already spent nearly a decade documenting abandoned places across the United Kingdom. With hundreds of locations behind him, very little still surprised him, or so he thought. In August of that year, Tom uploaded a video that would quickly stand out from the rest. The location was an enormous, long-abandoned industrial complex in Lancashire, once known as Pilkington's headquarters. Joined by a friend, Tom entered the factory, expecting the usual dangers of decay, darkness, and isolation. What they didn't expect was just how massive the building truly was. The factory seemed endless, sprawling corridors, vast rooms, and multiple levels disappearing into darkness. Almost immediately, they realized that if anything went wrong inside, finding the source of a sound, or a person, would be nearly impossible. Still, they pushed forward. As they explored the lower levels, signs of previous human presence began to appear. Makeshift bedding, discarded items, empty containers, evidence that people had once been living inside the structure. Nearly everything of value had been stripped away. Metal, wiring, fixtures, all removed or destroyed by scrappers long before. The building felt hollow, like a shell picked clean. Despite this, the factory was eerily quiet. No voices, no footsteps, no movement. At least, not at first. Eventually, they decided to check the basement, a darker, more confined section of the complex. And that's where things changed.
This is actually creepy. Point down yourself. Point it on me. I want the flashlight and stop on me.
I'm a scaredy cat. What used to be in there then? What?
Holy sh! Please switch off lights when in use. How scary does that sound? What? Yeah, you can leave the light on, yeah? This is insane! They're literally above us. They're above us. Sounds creepy, doesn't it? Yeah, it's been blocked off here, isn't it? But that must lead to the other building. Wasn't it? Oh, it does as well. Oh, somebody's there. Right. Hurry up. Come on. That man was looking around the corner, and when we looked over, he moved.
Inside one of the basement rooms, their lights landed on something that made them stop cold. A sleeping bag, not abandoned, occupied. The shape inside it was unmistakable. Nearby, scattered cans and personal items confirmed what they were seeing. Someone was actively living there. Understanding the risk of startling a stranger in a place like this, Tom and his friend backed away immediately. Without a word, they retraced their steps and left the basement, choosing caution over curiosity. For the next several minutes, they continued exploring the upper levels, but the atmosphere had shifted. Every pause felt tense. Every sound made them stop and listen. They kept checking behind them, half expecting footsteps to follow, but nothing happened. Then, from above, came noise. Heavy movement echoed from the top floors, metallic sounds, scraping, and distant impacts. The explorers quickly realized what it meant. Scrappers, people actively dismantling what remained of the factory. Now they weren't just sharing the building with one unknown person below. There were others above them. That was enough. Rather than risk being trapped between multiple groups, Tom and his friend decided to end the exploration and leave while they still could. They carefully made their way toward the exit. But the most unsettling moment was still waiting for them. Just outside the building, they spotted movement. A man stood partially hidden near the corner of the structure, watching. When their eyes met, the figure immediately pulled back out of sight. It became clear that the person they had seen sleeping in the basement had woken up and was now leaving the building as well. At one point, Tom mentioned that the man appeared to stare directly at them before turning and walking away, disappearing into the surrounding area. Not wanting the situation to escalate, the explorers didn't hesitate. They left. Fortunately, the encounter ended without confrontation. No one followed them, no words were exchanged, no threats were made. But it could have gone very differently. Encounters like this, involving squatters, scrappers, or unknown individuals, often turn hostile. This time, luck was on their side. The abandoned factory wasn't empty, and it made one thing clear. Some places aren't abandoned at all. They're just occupied by people you never expect to find.